Okay, so first let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, the setup is different. I decided to change things up. Let me know what you guys think of the new setup kind of vibe, if you guys are digging it or not. But anyways, today's video is about why I decided to ditch biased browsers and why I made the switch over to neutral browsers like Firefox. So let's begin. So way back ago, probably around 2010, I used to be like a Firefox OG member. Like, this was my go-to web browser, and I think a lot of you guys would agree, Firefox was more popular a few years ago. And then as Google services and Google products began to develop and, gain some publicity, a lot of these services started demanding for Google Chrome. Like, I remember when Google Earth came out and Google Hangouts, things like that, they demanded you to use Google Chrome. Like, there was no option for you to use it on your Firefox or Internet Explorer because it just simply didn't run. Even to this date, a lot of Google services or Google websites give you a pop-up saying that the browser you're using is outdated and to upgrade to Google Chrome. Now 2010, that was about 9 years ago. I wasn't old enough to understand that this was a strategic move done by Google, so I simply thought that Firefox was bad and it was outdated, so I did make the switch over to Google Chrome. Pretty much ever since I did, I haven't really looked back, because ever since Google attained majority of the browsing users, they just seem to have gotten more dominant and dominant over time, making it almost impossible for someone to revert to another browser. Now, some key features why I stuck with Google Chrome, knowing that they didn't have the user's best interests, include how easy it is to use it. You can simply log in with your Gmail account or your Google account or whatever, and that will link all your internet data with every device you use. So I can use my laptop over here, and then I can go to my phone and I can resume right where I left off. And just the ability of having a seamless connectivity is a main selling point for people to use Google Chrome. Now, apart from the seamless connectivity, another major reason why Google Chrome is so popular is because they have exclusive services, and this is where the biased browser comes in. So these guys are not just a browser company. Google is so big that they make all sorts of services, and some of the services that they made exclusive for Google Chrome include Google Meet, Allo, YouTube TV, Google Earth, YouTube Studio Beta, and all sorts of things like that. However, as time has gone by, they have slowly made it possible for other browsers to use these services, and that includes Hangouts, Inbox, and Google AdWords. However, even though they technically still work on every other browser, none of them work flawlessly like they do on Google Chrome. So Google is notorious for causing random errors or random bugs on their websites when you use a different browser. But those exact websites work perfect when you use Google Chrome. And I'm not the only one who's talking about this. There have been multiple tweets from users, like consumers themselves, and there have been multiple tweets from people who work at different companies that are competitors to Google, for example Microsoft, and people who work at Firefox. Let me read to you one of the tweets that is now deleted but was once tweeted out by a Microsoft developer. When the largest web company in the world blocks out competitors, it smells less like an accident and more like strategy. So this Microsoft developer, I think, is completely correct. It can be a coincidence that somehow all these other browsers can't use simple things like the YouTube editor, and all of a sudden it works flawlessly on Google Chrome. Now, apart from Google's gimmicks that they're doing right now, something which Internet Explorer or Microsoft used to do with Netscape, now apart from pulling these gimmicks on their competitors, Google has gone the extra step to pull these kind of gimmicks on their own people. What I mean by their own people is, so Google Chrome runs on this platform known as Chromium. So Chromium is the underlying skeleton of this web browser. So recently, I would say a few months ago, Microsoft Edge decided to switch from their own platform over to Chromium's platform. So technically, Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge are now in the same family. And I was actually a beta tester, like a preview or developer tester for the Microsoft Edge program. Now, while I was testing it out the first month, I would say it was awesome. It almost felt identical to Google Chrome except for the visual aesthetics of it. Now, a month or two later after release, I noticed that it was getting more and more buggier. Things were getting slower and slower, and it felt like Microsoft Edge, or the new Microsoft Edge, was going downhill. So then I did some digging. I read a lot of articles about this, and then I found out that Google themselves have been sending different slower pages to these browsers, including Microsoft Edge. So recently Microsoft Edge, the Chromium version, got pulled out of using the newer YouTube. So if you use Microsoft Edge and you try to go on YouTube, you're going to be getting the old version, not the new materialistic design. And they're pulling strings like this not just for competitors, not just for outsiders. Now they're doing it for their own people, their own members of the family of Chromium. So to me, it just seems like a really unethical and bad business practice. Like, how desperate do you have to be to try to force people to use your product? And you know, now ever since, I think it's almost like exactly 30 days ago, I switched to Firefox, and I haven't really looked back. Now yes, there are instances where I notice Firefox having hiccups or a little bit of a lag. The laptop touchpad zooms and pinches are not as smooth as Google Chrome or Chromium's is. But overall, it feels better to use something that is unbiased. It feels better to use something neutral. And if you actually head down to Mozilla Firefox's official website, you can see that the company has a different vision. They actually want to give you an open internet, and Firefox was one of the pioneers to web browsers. So they do have an awesome past, and they do have a better motive than a lot of these companies, and especially a better vision and mission than Google Chrome. If you head down to Google Chrome and look at that page, it looks simply just like another Google product that Google is trying to feed on you. This is a Google monopoly, and the sooner we realize that, the sooner that we can protect ourselves. Because the more connected everything is, the more our phones are connected, the more our Google homes are connected, Google will simply take us. Like, they will literally take a part of our lives, because they will have all your digital tracks. By using different services, like for example Firefox, with companies that are more oriented towards actually giving you service and privacy and not actually using your data, you will be able to minimize the amount of tracks or footprints that you leave behind for an individual corporation. It's a weird theory that I'm using, a weird perspective, it's a weird opinion, I understand, but I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of speed, I'm willing to take in a little bit of bugs, just for the sake of fighting against this monopoly. And I hope that you guys can share this video with other people who will agree with me and fight against this Google monopoly, because it's completely unfair and we should not be supporting it. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, be sure to drop a fat like, and also go and comment something in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe with post notifications turned on. Let me know what you guys think about the setup, and this is Tech Alpha signing out. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.